The HOA president told me she was seizing my property. $250,000. 5 acres on Lake Clearwater. My American dream. Sharon Whitfield handed me violation notices. My dock was unauthorized. 14 days, or she'd foreclose. I thought it was about rules. It wasn't. I found emails proving she planned everything. Forced foreclosure. Buy my land cheap. Flip it for 400 grand profit. She destroyed other families. Stolen homes. Made millions through HOA fraud. I hired a lawyer who uncovered $2 million in theft. Shell companies. Fake invoices. 93 families joined the fight. We sued for $1.5 million. The courtroom verdict will blow your mind. The evidence. The moment she lost everything. Justice served on camera. Stay until the end for the most satisfying payoff you'll see. Comment where you're watching from. I need to know how many of you out there are fighting the same battle. I'm standing on my deck at sunrise. Lake Clearwater spreads out in front of me like liquid glass. Green mountains rise behind it. Pines everywhere. The air smells like morning, clean, cold, pure. This is mine. 5 acres of Colorado paradise. 2 hours outside Denver. I saved 15 years for this moment. Every double shift at the construction site. Every weekend I worked while my buddies went camping. Every dollar I didn't spend on a new truck or a vacation. Worth it. All of it. I'm Mike Reynolds. 38 years old. Divorced 3 years now. No kids. Just me and this land. I paid cash. $250,000. The realtor told me about the HOA. I signed the papers. Paid my dues on time. Never caused problems. Last month I built a dock. 40 feet of treated pine. Cost me $4 grand. Sits perfect on the water. I fish there every morning before work. Coffee in one hand. Rod in the other. The fog lifts off the lake slow. Deer move through the tree line like ghosts. Everything's quiet except the water lapping against the shore. This is freedom. For the first time since the divorce, life feels complete. Then I hear gravel crunching in my driveway. I turn around. A woman is walking toward me. Blonde. Mid-40s maybe. Designer sunglasses pushed up on her head. Expensive athletic wear that probably costs more than my monthly truck payment. She's carrying a clipboard. Behind her sits a white Range Rover. Spotless. Not a scratch. I know exactly what this is. HOA. My stomach tightens. She's got that walk. That entitled, I own everything walk. Heels clicking on my gravel like she's announcing herself. I set my coffee down on the deck rail. Mr. Reynolds? Her voice is sweet. Too sweet. The kind of sweet that comes before poison. That's me. She stops at the bottom of my deck stairs. Looks at the lake. At my dock. Back at me. I'm Sharon Whitfield, HOA president. We need to discuss your unauthorized structure. The way she says unauthorized makes my jaw clench. What structure? She points at my dock. Her smile doesn't move, but her eyes are cold. That dock. It violates our covenants. Section 47B. All lakefront structures require architectural committee approval before construction. I built that dock myself. Weekends. Sweat. Pride. Nobody told me I needed approval. It's in the documents you signed at closing. You did read them, didn't you? I didn't. Nobody reads 300 pages of HOA legal garbage. I'll submit it for approval now. Her smile gets colder. Sharper. Too late for that. The violation process has already begun. You have 14 days to remove it. Professionally. At your expense. Or we'll remove it for you and bill you double. She hands me a bright red piece of paper. Official looking. Violation notice, printed across the top in bold. 14 days, Mr. Reynolds. Sharon turns and walks back to her Range Rover. Doesn't look back. Doesn't rush. Just that slow, confident walk. She knows she's got power. And she wants me to know it too. The Range Rover pulls away. Gravel kicks up behind her tires. I'm standing there holding this red paper. My hands are shaking. Not from fear. From rage. I look at my dock. The sunrise reflecting off the water. The mountains. Everything I worked for. And some HOA president I've never met just told me it's coming down. I go inside. Find the HOA documents in my filing cabinet. Thick stack. Maybe 300 pages. Single-spaced. Legal language that makes my eyes hurt. I flip through until I find Section 47B. All lakefront structures including, but not limited to docks, boat lifts, swimming platforms, and shoreline modifications require written approval from the Architectural Review Committee prior to construction. Violations subject to immediate removal and associated costs. There it is. Black and white. I never knew. Nobody told me at closing. The realtor never mentioned it. I grab my phone. Call the HOA office number on the violation notice. Straight to voicemail. You've reached Clearwater HOA. Office hours are Monday and Thursday, 9 to noon. Leave a message. I leave a message. Explain the situation. Ask how to submit my doc for retroactive approval. No callback. I call again the next day. Voicemail. Leave another message. Still nothing. 3 days pass. I call 5 more times. Every call goes to voicemail. 0 responses. It's like they're ignoring me on purpose. Day 4. I'm working on a job site when my phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. This is Sharon Whitfield. Your doc removal deadline is in 10 days. No extensions will be granted. I text back. I've been trying to reach the office. Can we discuss this? 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. The violation process has begun. Removal is your only option. Further communication should go through the HOA attorney. She sends another text. A phone number. Some law office in Denver. I'm standing there covered in drywall dust. Hands filthy. Reading this text from an HOA president who won't even talk to me. That night, I see headlights moving slow past my property. I look out the window. White Range Rover. Sharon. She's driving maybe 5 miles an hour. Phone in her hand. Taking pictures of my property. My dock. My house. My truck. Documenting everything. I step outside. She speeds up and drives away. My neighbor Tom walks over. He's lived here 12 years. Good guy. Keeps to himself mostly. You got a violation notice, huh? You know about this? Tom looks at my dock. Then at the lake. His face is grim. Sharon's been HOA president for 8 years. She's ruthless, man. Absolutely ruthless. How ruthless? The Hendersons got fined $5,000 for painting their mailbox the wrong shade of white. Wrong shade. She had a color sample chart and everything. They couldn't pay. She put a lien on their property. They had to sell. My blood goes cold. She forced them to sell? Yeah. And Sharon bought it through some LLC. Flipped it 6 months later for 80 grand profit. I feel sick. The Kramers had a treehouse. Their kids love that thing. Sharon made them tear it down. Said it was an unauthorized structure. The kids cried for a week. Tom keeps going. The Bishops, elderly couple down by the creek. They planted a vegetable garden. Tomatoes. Cucumbers. Sharon said it violated landscaping standards. Threatened foreclosure. Mr. Bishop had a heart attack from the stress. I can't breathe. Can she really foreclose? Over a dock. Tom looks me dead in the eyes. She'll try to take everything, Mike. Everything. He walks back to his house. I stand there in my driveway. 10 days left. And Sharon Whitfield just became my enemy. Day 8. Still no callback from the HOA office. I call a contractor. Get a quote for dock removal. $8,000. My dock cost $4 grand to build. They want 8 to tear it down. This is insane. I drive to the HOA office. It's near the community entrance. Small brick building. 1 room. American flag out front. I walk in. Sharon's behind the desk. She looks up. Sees me. That smile again. Mr. Reynolds. How can I help you today? She knows exactly why I'm here. I want to submit my doc for approval. Retroactively. I'll pay whatever fees are required. Sharon leans back in her chair. Crosses her arms. The violation process has already begun. We can't reverse it now. Why not? Policy. Once a violation is issued, the structure must be removed before any new applications can be considered. That makes no sense. It's in Section 52C of the covenants. She says it like she's reading a script. Like she's done this 100 times. What if I refuse to remove it? Her eyes go ice cold. The smile vanishes. Then we place a lien on your property for noncompliance. Liens accumulate interest. Eventually, we foreclose. It's all outlined in the documents you signed. That word hits me like a truck. Foreclose. You'd foreclose on my property? Over a dock. Over repeated violations of community standards, Mr. Reynolds. She slides a folder across the desk. I open it. Photos. Dozens of them. My property. My truck. My mailbox. My front lights. My grass. All dated. All labeled. Your grass exceeded regulation height by 2 inches on August 14th. We documented it. Your exterior light fixtures are brushed nickel. Only oil-rubbed bronze and matte black are approved colors. Your mailbox post has weathered cedar stain. Only solid black or white are permitted. I'm staring at these photos. She's been watching me for months. Documenting everything. Building a case. You're making this up. Sharon's smile returns. Cold. Calculated. I document everything, Mr. Reynolds. It's my job to maintain community standards. Some people appreciate that. Others, well, they fight it. And they lose. She stands up, walks to the door, opens it. You have 6 days. After that, we take action. I leave, hands trembling. Not fear. Rage. Pure, burning rage. That night I call a lawyer. Real estate attorney. Guy named David Morrison. He's been practicing for 30 years. I explain everything. Send him photos of the violation notice. The HOA documents. The photos Sharon took. He goes quiet for a long time. Mike, this is bad. She absolutely can do this. HOAs have broad authority in Colorado. If the covenants give them foreclosure power, they can use it. My chest tightens. So I'm screwed. I didn't say that. David pauses. I need to dig into something. Her documentation is too perfect. Too aggressive. HOA presidents don't usually act like this unless they're hiding something. Hiding what? I don't know yet. But give me 48 hours. Don't remove that doc. Don't do anything. Let me investigate. I hang up. Look out at the lake. My dock silhouetted against the moonlight. This isn't just about rules anymore. This is war. 2 days later, David calls. Mike, sit down. You're not going to believe what I found. I'm already sitting. On my deck. Coffee gone cold. Tell me. Your HOA collects dues for lake maintenance. $20,000 a year from 80 homeowners. That's $1.6 million over the past 10 years. Okay. I pulled the HOA's financial statements. The lake maintenance budget for the last decade? $0. I don't understand. Where's the money going? Management fees. Paid to a company called Clearwater Property Solutions, LLC. $500,000 over 10 years. Who owns the company? David's voice gets quiet. Sharon Whitfield. My blood goes cold. She's paying herself? With mandatory HOA dues. For services that were never performed. That's embezzlement, Mike. That's fraud. I stand up. Start pacing. Can we prove it? I just did. Corporate filings are public record. And it gets worse. She's done this with 3 other HOAs. Same pattern. Same shell company structure. I found 2 homeowners who lost properties to foreclosure in her other communities. Both times Sharon bought the properties through LLCs, flipped them, made over $200,000. I feel like I'm going to be sick. She's been doing this for years. At least 8. She targets people, manufactures violations, escalates to foreclosure, buys the property cheap, sells it high, and nobody stopped her. Most people can't afford to fight. They give up, sell before foreclosure, move away. She's been picking off families one by one. I'm shaking, actually shaking. What do we do? David's voice changes. Gets harder. We bury her. He explains the plan. We're not just fighting the dock violation. We're going after everything. Fraud, embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duty, racketeering. We're suing for $1.5 million. Treble damages under Colorado consumer protection laws. Can we win? With this evidence? Absolutely. But Mike, she's going to fight back. Hard. Are you ready for that? I look at my dock. My property. My dream. I'm ready. The next morning, David files the lawsuit. Emergency injunction to stop the dock removal. Civil complaint for damages. Everything. We serve Sharon personally. David arranged it. I want to be there. I park across the street from the HOA office. Watch from my truck. Process server walks in. Hands her the papers. Sharon opens the envelope right there. Starts reading. I see her face change. Confusion first. Then shock. Then rage. Pure, unfiltered rage. She looks around. Out the window. Sees my truck. Our eyes meet. She knows. I drove here just so she'd see me. So she'd know exactly who did this. Sharon stares for a long moment. Then looks back at the lawsuit. Her hands are shaking. Good. Now she knows what it feels like. I start my truck. Pull away. In my rearview mirror, I see her standing in the doorway. Just standing there. Holding the papers. Realizing her entire operation just got exposed. The next morning, I wake up to my phone ringing. Tom. Mike, get out here. Now. I run outside. My dock is destroyed. Completely demolished. Chainsawed into pieces. Wood floating in the lake. Metal brackets torn out. Concrete anchors ripped up. 40 feet of dock. Gone. Destroyed overnight. I call the police. File a report. Take photos. Video evidence. The officer takes notes. But he's skeptical. The HOA had a violation notice. They might have had legal authority to remove it. In the middle of the night? Without notice? He shrugs. That's a civil matter. You'll need to take it up with your attorney. I call David immediately. She destroyed it. Good. I'm confused. Good. David's voice is cold. Calculated. She just acted out of desperation. Destruction of property. We're adding it to the lawsuit. And Mike? She just made this much easier. Juries hate this kind of behavior. 2 days later, Sharon's attorney calls David. Settlement offer. She'll drop all violations. Waive all fines. Pay for a new doc. I just have to withdraw the lawsuit. David asks what I want to do. I think about Tom's stories. The Hendersons. The Kramers. The Bishops. Families she destroyed. Lives she ruined. No settlement. We're going to trial. David hires a forensic accountant. Former FBI. This guy doesn't miss anything. He tears through every HOA financial record. Bank statements. Tax returns. Corporate filings. 3 weeks later, he calls a meeting. Spreads documents across David's conference table. Sharon's been running a scheme across 4 different HOAs. Shell companies. Fake invoices. Phantom contractors. He shows me line items. Landscaping services. $20,000 a year. The landscaping company doesn't exist. It's just another LLC she owns. More documents. Security patrols. $15,000 annually. No security company. Just her. Architectural review fees. $10,000 per community. She's the only reviewer. Pocketing every dollar. The accountant keeps going. Invoice after invoice. Company after company. All fake. All flowing back to Sharon. Total estimated theft. $2.1 million over 10 years. I can't process that number. She stole $2 million? From mandatory HOA dues. From families who had no choice but to pay. David starts making calls. We contact every homeowner in all 4 communities Sharon controlled. 87 families. We're building a class action lawsuit. I'm the lead plaintiff. My story. My face. My fight. But I'm fighting for everyone. Local news picks it up first. Channel 7 Denver. HOA president accused of multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. They interview me on my property. Show the destroyed dock. The lake. The mountains. I tell my story. Everything. The violation notice. The threats. The foreclosure plan. The embezzlement. The segment airs that night. The response is overwhelming. Hundreds of comments online. Shares. Retweets. People telling their own HOA horror stories. Families crushed by petty tyrants. Lives destroyed over mailbox colors and grass height. Donations pour into a legal defense fund we set up. Strangers sending $20, $50, $100 checks with notes. Fight them. Win. Sharon fights back. Her attorney releases a statement to the press. Mr. Reynolds is a disgruntled homeowner who refused to follow clearly established community rules. The allegations of financial impropriety are baseless and will be disproven in court. This is a vindictive attempt to avoid personal responsibility. But David keeps digging. He finds emails. Internal communications between Sharon and her personal attorney. Subject line: Problem homeowners. Sharon discussing foreclosure strategies. Talking about which properties have the best resale value. Planning timelines. One email stops me cold. The Reynolds property is perfect. Lakefront. 5 acres. Undervalued at $250K. Force foreclosure on dock violation. Acquire for $150K through the LLC. Conservative flip estimate, $400K. Net profit, $250K. This is the big one. She wrote it 6 months ago. Before the violation notice. Before any of this started. She planned the entire thing. The dock violation wasn't about rules. It was a business plan. Steal my property. Sell it. Profit $250,000. Premeditated theft. David adds the email to our evidence. Sends copies to the DA. This isn't just civil anymore. This might be criminal. The trial date is set. 60 days away. I can't sleep. Can't eat right. Walk my property every night. 5 acres of mountains and lake and pine trees. My American dream. I'm fighting for all of it. And I'm fighting for everyone she hurt. The Hendersons. The Kramers. The Bishops. 87 families who deserve justice. Sharon Whitfield is about to learn what happens when you push too far. When you take from the wrong person. When you underestimate someone's willingness to fight back. 60 days. Then we go to war. Sharon doesn't go quietly. She fights dirty. New violation notices start appearing. My fence is 6 inches too tall. Measured from ground level. Never mentioned before. My gravel driveway uses unauthorized stone. The approved stone list is in some amendment I never received. My exterior paint color, unchanged since I bought the place 3 years ago, suddenly violates updated standards. Fine, start stacking. $500 for the fence. $1,000 for the driveway. $2,000 for the paint. David gets emergency injunctions blocking enforcement. But Sharon's sending a message. She's trying to break me psychologically. My truck gets keyed in the grocery store parking lot. Deep gouges down both sides. Thousands in damage. No cameras. No witnesses. I file a police report, but I know who did it. 2 weeks later, someone throws a rock through my living room window. 2 a.m. Glass everywhere. Another police report. Another dead end. Tom tells me Sharon's going door to door in the community, spreading rumors. I'm a liar. A con artist. Trying to destroy the HOA. Threatening everyone's property values. Some neighbors avoid eye contact now. Others whisper when I drive past. But some reach out privately. Text messages. Emails. Knocks on my door after dark. Sharon did the same thing to us. Threatened foreclosure over a fence. We paid $12,000 in fines just to make it stop. She made us remove our kids' playset. Said it was too colorful. Our daughter cried for weeks. We're with you. Don't give up. The class action grows. 93 families now. People are coming out of hiding. Finding courage. But the pressure is crushing me. Legal fees are stacking up. David's working partially pro bono, but depositions cost money. Expert witnesses cost money. I take out a loan against my property. The same property Sharon's trying to seize. The irony isn't lost on me. 3 weeks before trial, my ex-wife calls. We haven't spoken in 2 years. Not since the divorce was finalized. Mike. Her voice is soft. Concerned. Yeah. I saw you on the news. The HOA thing. Are you okay? I haven't cried since the divorce. But right now, hearing her voice, asking if I'm okay, I break down. Actually cry. I'm fighting for everything I have, Sarah. Everything. She's quiet for a moment. I know we didn't end well. But I know you. You're stubborn as hell. You don't quit. I'm sitting on my deck, looking at the lake. The destroyed dock still floating in pieces near the shore. What if I lose? Sarah's voice gets firm. You won't. You never do. Not when it matters. Don't let her win, Mike. We hang up. I sit there for an hour, just staring at the water. The mountains turning purple in the sunset. Deer moving through the tree line. This place saved me after the divorce. Gave me purpose. Hope. Sharon wants to take it. Wants to erase everything I've built. Not just my property. My dignity. My peace. My future. But she picked the wrong fight. The wrong man. I'm not the Hendersons. Not the Kramers. I'm not running. Trial starts in 21 days. And I'm going to destroy her. Colorado District Court. Judge Sarah Brennan presiding. The courtroom is packed. Every seat filled. 93 plaintiff families. Some drove hours to be here. Media in the back row. Cameras. Reporters. Notebooks. Sharon sits at the defense table. Navy blue designer suit. Hair perfect. Makeup flawless. She looks confident. Calm. Like she's already won. David stands. Approaches the jury. 8 men. 4 women. Regular people. Homeowners mostly. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about trust. About power. And about what happens when someone abuses both. He walks them through it. The shell companies. The fake invoices. The phantom contractors. $2.1 million in stolen HOA dues over 10 years. He shows bank records. Corporate filings. Tax documents. The jury takes notes. Face is serious. Focused. David points at Sharon. The defendant didn't just break rules. She weaponized them. She turned homeownership into a weapon. Used it to steal properties. Destroy families. All for profit. Sharon's attorney stands. Older guy. Expensive suit. Slicked back, gray hair. Mr. Reynolds signed a contract. He violated clearly stated covenants. Everything that followed was legal enforcement of rules he agreed to follow. He paints me as the villain. Disgruntled homeowner. Refused to follow simple rules. Built an unauthorized dock. Got caught. Now I'm making up lies. Filing frivolous lawsuits. A money grab disguised as justice. The destruction of the dock? The HOA had legal removal authority under the violation notice. Everything was by the book. Day 2. We call witnesses. The Hendersons take the stand first. Mrs. Henderson is 62. Retired teacher. Shaking as she sits down. David asks her to tell her story. We painted our mailbox. Just a fresh coat. Same color it's always been. White. Her voice cracks. Sharon said it was the wrong shade. Too cream. Not pure white. She fined us $5,000. What happened next? We couldn't pay. We're on fixed income. She placed a lien on our home. Said we had 90 days or she'd foreclose. Mrs. Henderson starts crying. We had to sell. 40 years in that house. Our kids grew up there. We lost everything. David shows a document. Property sale records. Who bought your house? A company called Mountain Vista Properties, LLC. And who owns that company? Mrs. Henderson looks at Sharon. She does. The jury shifts. Several lean forward. David shows the flip records. Sharon bought the Henderson property for $160,000. Sold it 6 months later for $238,000. $78,000 profit. The Kramers testify next. Their kids' treehouse. The violation notices. $12,000 in legal fees fighting Sharon. They eventually gave up. Moved away. Then the Bishops. Elderly couple. Mr. Bishop had a heart attack from the stress of Sharon's foreclosure threats. Over a vegetable garden. Tomatoes and cucumbers. He survived. Barely. The jury isn't smiling anymore. They're angry. I can see it in their faces. Day 3. My turn. I take the stand. Hand on the Bible. Swear to tell the truth. David walks me through my story. Buying the property. The dream. 15 years of saving. Building the dock. The violation notice. The threats. Finding out Sharon planned to steal my land. Flip it. Profit $250,000. Sharon's attorney cross-examines. Mr. Reynolds, you didn't read the HOA covenants before signing, did you? No. So you violated rules you agreed to follow, but never bothered to read. I didn't steal $2 million from my neighbors either. The courtroom goes silent. Judge Brennan sustains the objection before it's even made. But the jury heard it. Sharon's attorney sits down. Face red. David rests our case for the day. I step down from the stand. Look at Sharon. She won't look back. Day 4. David calls the forensic accountant to the stand. This is the moment everything changes. The accountant, his name is Robert, walks the jury through every transaction. Every fake invoice. Every shell company. Every dollar Sharon stole. He uses charts, graphs, timelines. Clearwater Property Solutions, LLC received $493,000 in management fees over 10 years. Services claimed: lake maintenance, landscaping oversight, architectural review. He clicks to the next slide. Services actually performed: 0. The jury stares at the screen. Mountain Vista Properties, LLC purchased 4 foreclosed homes in Sharon Whitfield's HOA communities. Total acquisition cost: $612,000. Total resale value: $948,000. Net profit: $336,000. Robert keeps going, line by line, dollar by dollar. Sharon's entire operation laid bare. Her attorney tries to discredit him. You're being paid by the plaintiffs, aren't you? Yes. To find the truth. So you have a financial incentive to produce results they want. Robert doesn't blink. I have a professional obligation to report facts. Which I did. The facts show systematic fraud. Sharon's attorney sits down. Then David stands. Your Honor, we have one more piece of evidence. Discovered 3 days ago. He approaches the bench. The judge reviews something. Nods. David projects an image on the courtroom screen. An email. From Sharon's personal account to her attorney. Dated 6 months ago. Subject: Reynolds Property Opportunity. I watched the jury read it. Their faces change. One woman's mouth actually opens. David reads it aloud. The Reynolds property is perfect. Lakefront. 5 acres. Currently valued at $250K. If we can force foreclosure over the dock violation, I can acquire it through the LLC for approximately $150K. Conservative resale estimate: $400K. Net profit: $250K minimum. This is the big one. Timing is critical. Need to move fast before he lawyers up. The courtroom goes completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. Sharon's face drains of color. Actual color. Her hands grip the table. Her attorney jumps up. Objection. Hearsay. This email wasn't disclosed in discovery. This is improper. Judge Brennan cuts him off. The email was authenticated by the defendant's email provider. It's admissible. Objection overruled. David looks at the jury. This wasn't about rules. About covenants. About community standards. He points at Sharon. This was a plan. A scheme. To To steal a man's property. Sell it. Profit $250,000. Sharon won't look up. Won't look at anyone. Just staring at the table. She manufactured the violation. Escalated the threats. Destroyed his dock. All part of a premeditated plan to commit theft. David lets that sink in. Then he rests our case. Sharon's attorney calls character witnesses. People who say she's a dedicated HOA president. Maintains beautiful communities. Protects property values. But nobody's listening. The jury keeps glancing at that email on the screen. Sharon's own words. This is the big one. Move fast before he lawyers up. Premeditated. Calculated. Theft. Her attorney tries to spin it. An email discussing a potential business opportunity isn't evidence of fraud. But it's over. Everyone in that courtroom knows it. The jury's body language has completely shifted. Arms crossed. Leaning back. Some shaking their heads. They've already decided. Sharon planned to steal my home. She wrote it down. And now she's going to pay for it. Court adjourns for the day. I walk out into the hallway. Tom is there. 20 other homeowners. They've been watching from the gallery. Tom grabs my shoulder. You got her, Mike. You got her. I look back through the courtroom doors. Sharon sitting alone at the defense table. Staring at nothing. Finally understanding what it feels like to lose everything. Tomorrow we get the verdict. Day 5. Closing arguments. David is brilliant. He stands in front of the jury. No notes. Just conviction. Sharon Whitfield didn't make mistakes. She didn't use poor judgment. She ran a criminal enterprise disguised as HOA enforcement. He points at the evidence. $2.1 million stolen from mandatory dues. For properties seized through manufactured violations. Families destroyed. Lives ruined. An elderly man nearly died from the stress. He walks to Sharon's table. And she planned to do it again. To Mike Reynolds. Her own email proves it. Force foreclosure. Steal his property. Profit $250,000. David's voice rises. This isn't a civil dispute. This is fraud. Racketeering. Organized theft. And the evidence is overwhelming. He sits down. Sharon's attorney gives his closing. Mistakes were made. Miscommunication. Poor record keeping. But not intentional. Not criminal. Civil matters. Business decisions. The jury should consider reasonable doubt. They deliberate. For hours. Feels like 4 years. I'm pacing outside the courtroom. Can't sit still. Tom's with me. 20 other families. Everyone waiting. The bailiff opens the door. Jury's back. My heart stops. We file into the courtroom. Every seat fills again. Sharon sits at the defense table. Face blank. Emotionless. The jury enters. None of them look at Sharon. That's a good sign. David told me that. When a jury won't look at the defendant, they're about to convict. Judge Brennan speaks. Has the jury reached a verdict? The forewoman stands. Older woman. Kind face. Serious eyes. We have, Your Honor. In the matter of Reynolds versus Whitfield and Clearwater HOA, what say you? The forewoman reads from a paper. On the count of fraud, we find for the plaintiff. My knees almost buckle. Tom grabs my shoulder. Steadies me. On the count of breach of fiduciary duty, we find for the plaintiff. Someone behind me starts crying. On the count of racketeering, we find for the plaintiff. The courtroom is holding its breath. We award compensatory damages in the amount of $700,000. Holy God. $700,000. We award punitive damages in the amount of $800,000. The courtroom explodes. Cheering. Crying. People hugging. $1.5 million. Exactly what we asked for. Judge Brennan bangs her gavel. Order. Order in the court. But people can't stop. Years of fear. Abuse. Helplessness. Finally justice. I'm shaking. Actually trembling. David shakes my hand. Pulls me into a hug. You did it, Mike. You did it. No. We did it. 93 families. Every person who refused to stay silent. Sharon stands. Doesn't look at anyone. Just walks out. Her attorney follows. She's done. Finished. Destroyed. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarm. Cameras. Microphones. Mr. Reynolds, how do you feel? I don't know what to say. I feel like justice actually works. When you fight. When you don't give up. What's next? Sharon faces criminal charges. The DA is building a case. She might go to prison. Would that satisfy you? I think about the Hendersons. The Kramers. The Bishops. All the families she destroyed. It's a start. That night I stand on my deck. Lake Clearwater dark and quiet. Mountains silhouetted against the stars. This property is mine. Nobody's taking it. Ever. Tom comes over with beer. We sit in silence for a long time. Finally, he speaks. You saved a lot of people today, Mike. I look at my destroyed dock, still floating in pieces. Now I rebuild. The verdict goes viral. National news picks it up within hours. CNN, Fox, MSNBC. Colorado homeowner wins $1.5 million against fraudulent HOA president. My phone doesn't stop ringing. Interview requests. Podcast invitations. Legal shows wanting analysis. I do Good Morning America via satellite. Local Denver stations camp outside my property. The story becomes bigger than me. It becomes a rallying cry. HOA reform legislation gets introduced in the Colorado State Legislature within a week. Mandatory financial audits. Third-party oversight. Limits on foreclosure authority. They call it the Reynolds Act. My name attached to actual law. Sharon faces criminal charges. Wire fraud. Racketeering. Embezzlement. The district attorney holds a press conference. We've identified at least 12 victims across 4 HOA communities. The investigation is ongoing. More charges may follow. Sharon's properties get seized. Assets frozen. The Range Rover. The designer clothes. The expensive life she built on stolen money. All gone. The other 3 HOAs she controlled vote her out immediately. Dissolve the management agreements. Hire legitimate companies. Refunds start getting distributed. Families receive portions of their stolen dues back. Not everything. The money's mostly gone. But something. Acknowledgement. Justice. I use part of my settlement to pay off legal fees. David earned every penny. The rest goes into rebuilding. My dock first. I hire the best contractor in the county. 50 feet of beautiful western red cedar. Marine-grade stainless hardware. Built to last 50 years. I submit proper architectural applications. Include detailed plans. Engineering specs. The HOA, now under new management, approves it in 3 days. No hassle. No games. No threats. Just normal people doing normal business. The way it should have been from the start. Construction takes 2 weeks. I'm out there every day, watching, helping when I can. The morning they finish, I stand on that new dock. Coffee in one hand. The sun rising over Lake Clearwater. Mountains turning gold in the morning light. This is still my paradise. But now it's protected. Earned. Fought for. Won. Tom comes over sometimes. We fish together. Talk about the trial. How close it was. How scared I was. Other neighbors apologize. We should have supported you sooner. We were afraid of Sharon too. I don't hold grudges. We're a community again. A real one. Based on respect. Not fear. My property value increases. The realtor tells me it's worth $350,000 now. 100 grand more than I paid. Funny how property values go up when you remove a predator. I get letters. Hundreds of them. People across the country trapped in HOA nightmares. Your story gave me hope. I'm fighting back now because of you. Thank you for not giving up. I answer every single one. Share David's contact info. Offer advice. Document everything. Find good lawyers. Don't surrender. Your home is worth fighting for. Some battles are won. Some are lost. But people are fighting now. Not just accepting abuse. Standing up. Sharon's criminal trial is set for next spring. David thinks she'll take a plea deal. 5 to 7 years federal prison. Full restitution. Part of me wants to watch her go to jail. But honestly, I just want to move on. She's already lost everything that matters. Her reputation. Her freedom. Her future. That's enough. I'm standing on my deck. Evening now. Golden hour. The lake reflects orange and pink and purple. Mountains dark against the fading sky. Deer move through the tree line. Everything's quiet except the water. This view. This peace. I almost lost it. But I didn't. I fought. And I won. 6 months after the verdict. I'm still here. 5 acres of American dream. But everything's different now. The lawsuit changed more than just my life. It changed hundreds of lives. The class action expanded beyond Sharon's 4 HOAs. Other victims came forward. Other communities. Other states. Total damages now exceed $4 million. Sharon's fighting it. Her attorney's filing appeals. Motions. Delays. But she'll lose. The evidence is too strong. Too documented. Too public. David says it's just a matter of time. I get emails every day. People trapped in HOA nightmares. Facing foreclosure. Drowning in fines. They ask for advice. For hope. For direction. I tell them the truth. Document everything. Every violation notice. Every email, every interaction. Build your case before they know you're fighting. Find a real estate attorney who understands HOA law. Not all lawyers do. Find someone who's fought these battles before. Don't give up, even when it feels hopeless. Especially then. Your home is worth fighting for. Some people win, some lose. But they're fighting now, not just accepting abuse from petty tyrants. Standing up. I started a website. HOA Justice Alliance. Free resources. Template documents. Lawyer referrals organized by state. Success stories from people who fought back and won. It's growing. Thousands of visitors every month. People finding tools. Finding hope. The Colorado legislation, the Reynolds Act, passed in April. Governors signed it into law. Mandatory annual financial audits for all HOAs. Third-party oversight. Transparent budgets. Limits on foreclosure authority. Homeowners get 90 days notice. Right to legal representation. Mediation requirements before liens. Other states are watching. Arizona introduced similar legislation. Texas. Florida. Change is spreading. Because one guy refused to let an HOA president steal his dock. Because 93 families stood together. Because we fought. Local news does a 6-month follow-up piece. They interview me on my new dock. How does it feel to know your case changed the law? I look at the lake, the mountains, the sunset. It feels like justice isn't just about winning. It's about making sure the next person doesn't have to fight as hard. They ask about Sharon. Her criminal trial is in 3 weeks. DA offered a plea deal. 5 years federal prison. Full restitution to all victims. Sharon rejected it. She's going to trial. Still fighting. Still denying. Do you feel vindicated? I think about that. I feel tired. But I also feel free. She doesn't control my life anymore. Doesn't control anyone's life. The interview airs that night. More emails pour in. More people inspired. More fights starting. I realize something sitting on my deck that evening. This isn't just my victory. It's everyone's who ever felt powerless against someone with authority. Everyone who got pushed around by bureaucrats and petty tyrants. Everyone who thought the system was rigged against regular people. We proved it's not. We proved you can fight back. And win. My phone rings. David. Mike, you sitting down? I'm already sitting. Beer in hand. Watching the stars come out. Yeah. What's up? Sharon just changed her plea. Guilty on all counts. Accepted the deal. 5 years federal prison. Full restitution. I close my eyes. Breathe deep. Mountain air. Pine trees. Lake water. Freedom. When does she report? 30 days. 30 days until Sharon Whitfield goes to prison. For stealing from families. Destroying lives. Running a fraud scheme disguised as community service. Justice. Real justice. Thank you, David. For everything. You did the hard part, Mike. You stood up when nobody else would. We hang up. I sit there for a long time. Just looking at my property. My dock. My home. My dream. Nobody's taking this from me. Ever. I'm standing on my deck. Morning. Early. The sun hasn't cleared the mountains yet. Lake Clearwater is glass. Perfect reflection. Sky and water bleeding together. This is peace. This is what I fought for. Not just property. Not just money. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear. Without someone threatening to take everything you've worked for over manufactured violations and petty power games. I hear gravel in my driveway. For a second, just a second, that old fear hits. But it's just Tom. Coffee in hand. Fishing rod over his shoulder. You ready? Always. We walk down to the dock together. 50 feet of cedar. Solid. Beautiful. Legal. The morning fog lifts slow off the water. Deer move through the trees. Everything's quiet except our footsteps on the wood. This is American dream. Not the house or the land or the money. The peace. The knowledge that you're safe. Protected. That you stood up and won. Tom casts his line. I pour coffee from my thermos. You hear Sharon reports to federal prison next week? Yeah. David told me. How do you feel about it? I watch the mountains. The sun finally breaking over the ridge. Golden light spreading across the lake. I feel like justice worked. Slow. Expensive. Brutal. But it worked. Tom nods. We fish in silence for a while. Then he asks the question I've been thinking about. Was it worth it? All the stress. The money. The fear. Was it worth it? I look at my property. 5 acres I almost lost. The dock that started everything. The view that saved me after my divorce. Every second. The HOA Justice Alliance website gets 1,000 visitors yesterday. People downloading templates, reading success stories, finding lawyers, fighting back. The Reynolds Act is law now, protecting Colorado homeowners from predators like Sharon. Other states following. Change spreading. All because I refused to remove a dock. Because I hired a good lawyer. Because 93 families stood together. Because we didn't give up. My phone buzzes. Email from someone in Florida. Mr. Reynolds, I just won my case against my HOA. They tried to foreclose over a fence. I used your playbook. Documented everything. Found the fraud. We settled for $340,000. Thank you for showing us how to fight. I forward it to David. He responds immediately. Another one. This is bigger than us now. He's right. This isn't about me anymore. It's about everyone who's ever felt powerless. Everyone who thought the system was rigged. Everyone who got crushed by people who abused authority. We proved you can fight back. You can win. But you have to stand up. Document everything. Find good help. Don't surrender. Your home, your dream, is worth fighting for. I'm standing on my deck as the sun climbs higher. Lake Clearwater stretching out like a promise. Mountains standing guard. My land. My dock. My freedom. Sharon Whitfield took her shot. Tried to steal my American dream. Turn it into profit. But she picked the wrong fight. The wrong man. And now she's in federal prison. Her empire destroyed. Her schemes exposed. While I'm here, coffee in hand, standing on the dock she tried to take. Living the life she tried to steal. This is victory. Not just winning a lawsuit. Reclaiming your peace. Your dignity. Your right to exist without fear. That's what I fought for. That's what 93 families fought for. And that's what we won. The ending? This isn't an ending. It's a beginning. For everyone still fighting. For everyone who will fight tomorrow. For everyone who refuses to let petty tyrants win. Stand up. Document everything. Find good lawyers. And fight like your dream depends on it. Because it does. This is Mike Reynolds. Lake Clearwater, Colorado. And this is my land. Nobody's taking it. Ever again. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt powerless against someone abusing authority, leave a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from. Share your story. Let's build a community of people who refuse to surrender. Your comment might inspire the next person to stand up and fight. Don't just watch. Be part of the movement. Drop your location and let me know this message is reaching people who need it.